Deuteronomy 13. 1. When a prophet or a dreamer of dreams arises among you and gives you a sign or a wonder. 2. And that sign or wonder shall come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, Let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. 3. Thou shalt not listen to the words of that prophet or dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your God is testing you, to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. 4. You shall walk after the Lord your God, and fear him, and keep his commandments, and obey his voice, and serve him, and cleave to him. 5. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall die, because he spoke rebellion against the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, and redeemed you from the house of bondage, to depart from the way which the Lord your God commanded you, to walk in it. So shalt thou put away evil from among thee. 6. When your brother, your mother's son, or your daughter, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend, who is like your soul, urges you, saying to you in secret, Let's go, and let us serve others gods that you did not know, neither you nor your fathers. 7. Among the gods of the peoples that are round about you, near or far from you, from one end of the earth to the other end. 8. You shall not consent to him, nor shall you listen to him, neither shall thine eyes spare him, neither wilt thou pity him, nor hide him. 9. But you will surely kill him, your hand will be the first against him, to kill him, and then the hand of all the people. 10. And you shall stone him to death, because he sought to separate you from the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. 11. So that all Israel may hear and be afraid of it, and never again do such wickedness among you. 12. When you hear of one of your cities that the Lord your God is giving you to dwell there. 13. Some men, sons of Belial, who went out from among you, stirred up the inhabitants of their city, saying, Let us go, and let us serve other gods that you have not known. 14. Then shalt thou inquire, and with diligence shalt inquire, and, behold, it being true and certain, that such an abomination was done among thee. 15. You will surely strike the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, destroying it and everything in it, even the animals. 16. And thou shalt gather all her spoil in the midst of her square, and thou shalt burn the city and all its spoil utterly to the Lord thy God, and it shall be a perpetual heap, never to be built again. 17. Neither shall anything of the accursed thing take hold of your hand, that the Lord may turn away from the fierceness of his anger, and show you mercy, and have mercy on you, and multiply you, as he swore to your fathers. 18. When thou shalt obey the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep all his commandments which I command thee this day, to do what is right in the eyes of the Lord your God. Deuteronomy 14. 1. You are the children of the Lord your God. You shall not cut yourselves, nor make baldness between your eyes because of a dead man. 2. For you are a people holy to the Lord your God, and the Lord has chosen you, out of all the peoples that are on the face of the earth, to be his own people. 3. You shall not eat any abominable thing. 4. These are the animals you will eat, the ox, the sheep, and the goat. 5. The deer, and the doe, and the buffalo, and the wild goat, and the badger, and the chamois, and the fallow deer. 6. Any animal that has cloven hoofs, divided in two, that chews the cud, among the animals, that you shall eat. 7. But these you shall not eat, of those that only chew the cud, or that have cloven hoofs, the camel, and the hare, and the rabbit, because they chew the cud but do not have cloven hoofs, filthy shall you be. 8. Nor the pig, because it has a cloven hoof, but does not chew the cud, it shall be unclean to you, you shall not eat their flesh, nor shall you touch their carcasses. 9. This ye shall eat of all that is in the waters, whatever has fins and scales you may eat. 10. But anything that does not have fins or scales you shall not eat, it will be unclean to you. 11. You shall eat every clean bird. 12. But these are the ones that you shall not eat: the eagle, and the snapper, and the 13. And the vulture, and the hawk, and the kite, after their kind. 14. And every raven after its kind. 15. And the ostrich, and the owl, and the seagull, and the hawk, after their kind. 16. And the owl, and the crow. 17. And the swan, and the pelican, and the cormorant. 18. And the stork, and the heron, after its kind, and the hoopoe, and the bat. 19. Also every insect that flies is unclean to you, it will not be eaten. 20. You shall eat every clean bird. 21. You shall not eat any dead animal. You shall feed the stranger who is within your gates, or sell him to a stranger, for you are a people holy to the Lord your God. You shall not boil a kid in its mother's milk. 22. Thou shalt surely tithe all the fruit of thy seed, which is gathered out of the field each year. 23. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God, in the place which he shall choose to place his name there, the tithe of thy grain, of thy wine, and of thy oil, and the firstlings of thy herds and of thy flocks, that you may learn to fear the Lord your God always. 24. And when the way is so long for you that you are not able to carry it, because the place which the Lord your God will choose to put his name there is too far from you, when the Lord your God has blessed you. 25. Then sell them, and bind the money in your hand, and go to the place which the Lord your God will choose. 26. And thou shalt give that money for all that thy soul desires, for oxen, and for sheep, and for wine, and for strong drink, and for all that thy soul desireth. Eat it there before the Lord your God, and rejoice, you and your house. 27. But you shall not forsake the Levite who is within your gates, for he has no part or inheritance with you. 28. At the end of 3 years thou shalt bring forth all the tithes of thy increase in the same year, and thou shalt collect them within thy gates. 29. Then the Levite, for he has no part or inheritance with you, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, who are within your gates, shall come and eat and be satisfied, that the Lord your God may bless you in all the work that your hands do. Deuteronomy 15. 1. At the end of 7 years you will make remission. 2. This, then, is the way of redemption. Every creditor shall redeem what he lent to his neighbor. He shall not require it of his neighbor or his brother, for the release of the Lord is proclaimed. 3. From abroad you will demand it, but whatever you have in your brother's hand your hand will release. 4. Except when there is no poor among you, for the Lord will bless you abundantly in the land which the Lord your God will give you for an inheritance, to possess it. 5. If only you will diligently listen to the voice of the Lord your God, to take care to do all these commandments that I command you today. 6. For the Lord your God will bless you, as he has promised you. Thus thou shalt lend to many nations, but thou shalt not borrow, and you will rule over many nations, but they will not rule over you. 7. If there be among you a poor man, one of your brothers, in any of your gates in the land which the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not harden your heart, nor close your hand from your brother who is poor. 8. Rather, you will open your hand to him and freely lend him what he lacks, as much as is sufficient for his need. 9. Take heed that there be no perverse word in your heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release, is at hand, and may your eye be evil toward your poor brother, and you give him nothing, and let him cry against you to the Lord, and let there be sin in you. 10. Freely thou shalt give him, and let not thine heart be evil when thou givest him, for on this account the Lord your God will bless you in all your work and in all that you put your hand to. 11. For the poor will never cease from the land, therefore I command you, saying, you shall open your hand freely to your brother, to your needy, and to your poor in your land. 12. When your Hebrew brother or Hebrew sister sells himself to you, 6 years he shall serve you, but in the 7th year you shall let him go free. 13. And when you let him go free, you won't send him away empty. 14. Thou shalt supply them freely from thy flock, and from thy threshing floor, and from thy winepress, of what the Lord your God has blessed you with, you shall give him. 15. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a servant in the land of Egypt, and that the Lord thy God redeemed thee, therefore I command you this day. 16. But if he says to you, I will not leave you, because I love you, and your house, because I am well with you. 17. Then shalt thou take an awl, and pierce his ear at the gate, and he shall be thy servant forever, and so shall you do to your handmaid. 18. Do not be harsh in your eyes, when I send him free from you, for 6 years he served you equivalent to twice the wages of a day laborer, so the Lord your God will bless you in all that you do. 19. Every firstling born of your herds and of your flocks, the male you shall sanctify to the Lord your God. You shall not work with the firstborn of your ox, nor shall you shear the firstborn of your flock. 20. You shall eat them before the Lord your God from year to year, in the place which the Lord shall choose, you and your household. 21. But if it has a blemish, if it is lame, or blind, or has any blemish, you shall not sacrifice it to the Lord your God. 22. In your gates you shall eat it, the unclean and the clean shall eat it also, like a hart or a stag. 23. Only his blood thou shalt not eat, you shall pour it out on the earth like water. Deuteronomy 16. 1. Keep the month of Abib, and keep the Passover to the Lord your God, for in the month of Abib the Lord your God brought you out of Egypt by night. 2. Then thou shalt sacrifice the Passover to the Lord thy God, of the flocks and of the herds, in the place which the Lord shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. 3. Thou shalt not eat leaven therein, 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread therein, the bread of affliction, because thou hast left the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day of thy departure from the land of Egypt all the days of thy life. 4. Leaven shall not appear with thee for 7 days in all thy terms. Also of the meat that you kill in the evening on the first day, nothing will remain until the morning. 5. Thou shalt not sacrifice the Passover in any of thy gates which the Lord thy God giveth thee. 6. Except in the place which the Lord your God will choose to cause his name to dwell, there you shall sacrifice the Passover at evening, at sunset, at the appointed time for you to leave Egypt. 7. Then thou shalt bake it, and eat it in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, then you will return in the morning, and you will go to your tents. 8. 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day it is a feast to the Lord thy God, no work shall you do. 9. 7 weeks thou shalt count, as soon as the sickle begins in the harvest, you will begin to count the 7 weeks. 10. Afterward thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto the Lord thy God. Whatever you give shall be a freewill offering from your hand, as the Lord your God has blessed you. 11. And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God, thou, and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, who are in your midst, in the place which the Lord your God will choose to cause his name to dwell there. 12. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a servant in Egypt, and thou shalt keep these statutes, and do them. 13. 7 days shall you keep the Feast of Tabernacles, when you have gathered from your threshing floor and from your winepress. 14. And at thy feast thou shalt rejoice, thou, and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are inside your doors. 15. 7 days thou shalt keep a feast to the Lord thy God, in the place which the Lord shall choose, for the Lord your God will bless you in all your produce and in all the work of your hands, therefore you will surely rejoice. 16. 3 times in the year shall every male among you appear before the Lord your God, in the place which he shall choose, at the feast of unleavened bread, and at the feast of weeks, and at the feast of tabernacles, but he shall not appear empty before the Lord. 17. Each one according to the gift of his hand, according to the blessing of the Lord your God, which he gave him. 18. You shall appoint judges and officials in all your cities which the Lord your God gives you among your tribes, that they may judge the people with righteous judgment. 19. Thou shalt not twist judgment, thou shalt not be partial, neither shalt thou receive bribes, for the breast blinds the eyes of the wise, and perverts the words of the righteous. 20. Justice, only justice you will follow, that you may live and possess the land which the Lord your God is giving you. 21. You shall not plant any tree beside the altar of the Lord your God, which you make for yourself. 22. Nor shall you set up an image, which the Lord your God hates. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel, leave your like, and make a comment.